Three Dead Wolves by First Breath 1. In my younger days, I was a park ranger, deployed in a particularly remote stretch of woods. I worked perimeter patrols and wildlife management for nearly 10 years. I loved my job. I loved being outside, alone a majority of the time, out in nature. The career path was ideal for an introverted guy like me. I quit because of something that happened to me out there. Something I haven't felt comfortable enough to talk about for a long time. And the entire damn saga started with those dead wolves. I can distinctly remember the day we found them. It was snowing. I was on my way to a checkpoint to make a repair. I stopped about 2 miles from the main base cabin when my walkie buzzed.
Matt?
Yeah?
Might want to get back here.
My partner for the day was a kid named Susan. She was 20 years old at the time, in college, working weekends to help pay for the books. I liked Sue. We formed a sort of sibling relationship in our short period working together. I definitely felt responsible for her. Call that what you will. On my way. The trip back to the base took me past a steep hill and ravine. I turned my ankle and caught some thorns, so a 30-minute hike took 40. I hobbled up the path and caught my partner a few feet from the doorway to our cabin. She was staring down into the ravine. "You alright?" I asked. "Hello?"
No.
She whimpered. "What?"
Look.
I followed the direction of her outstretched arm. There they were. 3 adult grey wolves, lined up in a row. Deader than the leaves. Their eyes were open, their mouths were gaped, and their fur drifted in the wind. But they didn't move. Who put them there, Susan? Did you?
No. Is it hunting season?
No. And you can't hunt wolves here. We hopped down the ravine and examined the carcasses. Decomposition only partially obscured the bodies. They hadn't been dead long. I looked for bullet holes but found none. I felt for cuts and came out empty. Their eyes watched me the entire time. The deep shades of orange and yellow and green looked so beautiful, even in death.
I keep feeling like one of them's gonna jump up and bite me,
Susan squeaked.
They just don't look dead. Look at those teeth.
Where's the blood? I wondered out loud. There should be some in the snow.
Maybe they were poisoned?
Maybe. We should still see something. I examined the mouths. They appeared malnourished. That would not be out of place in a modern world with shrinking habitats. I gestured for help and we rolled over each of the bodies. I dug deeper and performed a thorough check. Maybe not. Not a single wound. Nothing. Susan stared back at me. I hated this part. Being the senior, the old head, the one who makes decisions. I didn't know what the hell to do with them. I knew we had clear evidence of illegal poaching. The wolves didn't line themselves up. And the poachers didn't take anything. They didn't shoot anything. They just left him here. I also knew we had about an hour until the next wave of snow hit the area. Maybe they knew that too. Alright, let's get the top. Susan grabbed a large black piece of canvas. We covered the animals and buried the ends in the ground to shield them from the wind. By the time we finished, the sprinkles overhead turned into an onslaught, and my feet had begun to freeze. Alright, let's get inside. We hustled for the cabin. Rain, snow or shine, somebody had to be up on that mountain. But we had a game plan for storms like these. We suspended patrols. Sue downloaded a bunch of her favorite shows. I dug into my reading list. The night could actually be quite cozy if it all went right. Of course, that night, nothing went right. We locked up about daybreak. The storm escalated from there onwards. I stopped outside every now and again to track the snowfall. We tallied 3 feet by midnight. I turned the pages on my favorite novella. Sue snored through a telenovela. I drifted asleep for an hour. Maybe more. We woke up to a vicious pounding on the door. 3 a.m. I got to my feet. Sue stirred. I checked my alerts, but nobody called us. The pounding erupted once more before it quickly receded. Footsteps retreated down the steps. We waited.
Should we answer?
I guess.
Maybe they need help.
Seems like a weird way to ask. I opened the door. I didn't see it at first. Nothing appeared to be out of the ordinary. Snow caked up in the distance. Trees cracked and swayed. I smelled something burning. Then Sue screamed. In seconds, my entire world flipped upside down. Flames danced from the bathroom. Smoke billowed out from the roof. The entire cabin was on fire. We darted out of the house and dove forward just as a massive wooden cross beam collapsed behind our heads. We reached a safe distance and collapsed on the path.
He did this,
Susan spat.
That fucking asshole.
Who?
The guy who killed those wolves.
How do you know? She pointed. An empty gas canister sat an inch from the burning remains of our porch.
Now what?
We watched the cabin burn down in silence. I pulled out my walkie-talkie, thank God, and radioed for help. Dispatch said it would be hours to get through the storm. We expected as much. But we didn't have any weapons. We didn't have any shelter. We were sitting ducks for whatever this psychopath planned next. Once the fire felt safe enough to examine, I got up and found a post-it note tacked to a tree. 3 white wolves, dead in the snow. 3 white wolves, all in a row. Catch him, and don't let him go. 3 witchy women, dead in the snow. 3 witchy women, all in a row. Catch him, and don't let him go. What you just heard was the potential start of a new series by First Breath 1, also known as Matt Richardson. Please follow the links in the description to hopefully get more of this story in the future and support our amazing author. The more interest we see in this story, the more likely we are to get more. Anyway, thank you for listening. Longer stories are coming soon. I'll see you next time, my little monsters.